Judges 15. Samson visited his wife, but her father would not permit him to go in, and her father said, I really thought that you thoroughly hated her, therefore I gave her to your companion. And Samson said to them, I shall be blameless this time regarding the Philistines if I do them harm. Judges 16. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. And the lords of the Philistines came up to her and said to her, Entice him and find out what is his great strength, and by what means we may overpower him, that we may bind him to afflict him, and we will give you, every one of us, 1,100 pieces of silver. And it came to pass, when she pestered him with her words daily, and pressed him so that his soul was vexed to death, that he told her all his heart. She lulled him to sleep on her knees, and called for a man, and had him shave off the 7 locks of his head. And she began to torment him, and his strength left him. And the Philistines took him and put out his eyes. However, the hair of his head began to grow again after it had been shaven. Now the lords of the Philistines gathered together to offer a great sacrifice to Dagon, their god, and to rejoice. They said, Call for Samson, that he may perform for us. So they called for Samson from the prison, and he performed for them, and they stationed him between the pillars. And Samson called to Yahweh, saying, Lord God, remember me, I pray, and strengthen me, I pray, just this once, God, that I may take vengeance with one vengeful blow for my 2 eyes on the Philistines. And Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars which the temple supported on, and he pushed with all his might, and the temple fell on the lords and all the people who were in it. So the dead that he killed at his death were more than he had killed in his life. Judges 17, no comment. Judges 18, no comment. Judges 19, when there was no king in Israel, there was a certain Levite. He took for himself a concubine, but his concubine played the harlot against him and went away from him to the house of her father. And her husband arose and went after her to speak kindly to her and bring her back. And they turned aside to lodge in Gibeah. As they were enjoying themselves, suddenly certain perverted men of the city surrounded the house and beat on the door, and they spoke to the master of the house, the old man, saying, Bring out the man who came to your house, that we may know him. But the man went out to them, the master of the house, and said to them, No, my brothers, do not act so wickedly, I beg you. Do not commit this outrage. Look, here is my virgin daughter and the man's concubine. Let me bring them out now, humble them, and do good with them as you please. But to this man do not do this vile thing. But the men would not heed him. So the man took his concubine and brought her outside to them, and they knew her and abused her all night until morning. When her master arose in the morning, there was the woman, his concubine, fallen at the door of the house, with her hands on the threshold. And he said to her, Get up and let us be going. But there was no answer. So the man lifted her onto the donkey. When he entered into his house, he took a knife and laid hold of his concubine and divided her limb by limb into 12 pieces, and sent her throughout all the territory of Israel. And so it was that all who saw it said, No deed has been done or seen as this from the day that the sons of Israel came up from the land of Egypt until this day. Consider it of it, confer, and speak up.